Hello and welcome to this Wisdom Whisper on grounding. If you are new to me or new to my channel, I'm Kerin Monaco. I support the awakened feminine and light workers in unearthing their spiritual gifts, stepping confidently and authentically forward into service, as well as learn ways to heal themselves or herself specifically. Before I launch into the topic at hand, just a little bit of housekeeping. So I did want to say thank you so much to everybody who has sent a latte my way using the energetic exchange down in my video description. I'm just deeply grateful for your generosity and also for the caffeine that keeps me going sometimes. And then one other thing, if you're new to me, if you're new to that to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that when I release new teachings and videos, you get notified about it. All right. So today on Wisdom Whispers, I am talking about grounding, specifically sharing what it is, what it isn't, why it's important, and then I'm going to do a little guided breath work at the very end to show you how I start my day, or how I use it to start my day grounded every single morning. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what is grounding. So in the simplest form, in the simplest terms, grounding is what we do in order to bring our energy into our body and really onto the planet. When we are grounded, we are living in the present moment and we are conscious of what is taking place around us. We aren't overthinking the future and we aren't rehashing the past. Being in a grounded energy affords us the opportunity to really take aligned action, show up authentically, and make a difference in the world around us, which is really why so many of us are here and why so many of us have gathered together. Now, the human experience is, of course, full of things that are going to leave us ungrounded. It's oversleeping by accident and then being late to work as a result, and then that just never sets a good tone for the day. It can be found, we become ungrounded when we break up with a partner that we thought was our forever person, even if we didn't think they were our forever person, right? It can be getting caught up in the what ifs, the anxiety, and the fear. But I also find that sometimes those who I serve can actually get ungrounded through their spiritual practices. And I think that's because we place so much energy and focus on just doing the spiritual practices rather than the reasons behind them. So just a couple of quick examples of how I typically see that present is somebody pulling cards every single morning and feeling completely stuck and never following the information or the insight that's on the card, just continuing to pull. It can be somebody meditating, trying to get to 5D and failing to realize that 5D is not a place. It's a consciousness that is meant to be lived here on earth, not up in the heavens. Grounding is you can kind of visualize it as a pulling down of our energy. And it can lead us to, no longer get absorbed in the overthinking, but also not trying to escape our human experience. So why do we ground? I mean, I feel like after that introduction, it's kind of self-explanatory, but sometimes people who are ungrounded, they're too much in their heads or they're too much in the heavens. And regardless of which side of the coin you fall on, and it's going to flip-flop, grounding your energy brings you into this moment. And what's beautiful about this moment is that all things are possible. And this is where you can actually create change. You can shift things on an individual level in your personal life, but you can also be a part of the greater shift for the collective. To put it a couple of different ways to give you an idea, if you're in a heightened sense of anxiety because you can't pay your bills one month, staying in that state of anxiety is going to make it really hard for you to take a clear look and make a plan that's going to work so that you can get out of that situation. Once you ground your energy, you're going to sit back and look at the circumstance and you'll be able to really consider what your options are, which ones are the best ones, then identify a way forward and follow through with it. Meditating your way into the ethers is absolutely wonderful, but imagine what bringing that love down, that love and light that we get when we're in that meditation high, when we bring it down to earth and we start to share it with others, that does so much for ourselves and for everybody else we come into contact with. And then, going back to my card example from earlier, imagine if instead of just pulling cards constantly, you actually held yourself accountable and followed through with what is asked of you. Getting grounded is when things really start to change. So what grounding is not, because I get a lot of resistance when I talk about being grounded. So grounding is not about plugging back into the matrix. The matrix, much like 5D, is a consciousness where action is taken out of fear. Grounding allows you to take a look at the actions available and make a choice based on love. It's not a weighted or heavy feeling, and it's actually not even the opposite of ascension, because I hear that a lot. I actually feel like when I'm grounded, I am really in the thick, in the beauty of my ascension. When I feel grounded, I feel like, I am one with heaven and earth. And I find that the decisions I tend to make in those moments are really abundant and very fruitful. I can see how my self-awareness is in a really healthy balance when I'm grounded. So I'm fully aware of the patterns that are maybe unhealthy or that I need to heal. But I also am not too hard on myself. I don't beat myself up about my patterns. I just kind of take an honest look at them. And I see how I can just take a lot of the love that I receive through my spiritual practices and start to share it with others without being depleted. So here's the next really big thing that I want us to start changing, and that's, when do we ground? So often I hear from women, or well, not even just women, men too, that are in a reactive energy. Oh, I'm up in my head, I need to ground. Grounding proactively is going to change things significantly for you. So I'm going to challenge you to consider grounding just an essential part of your everyday life from here on out. Not just something you do when you're ungrounded. And that's actually going to mean that those times of being ungrounded are fewer and farther between. And also, when they are present, they won't be as big, because like a muscle, you'll have developed your ability to stay present, to stay grounded. There are so many different ways to get grounded, from crystals to oils to taking showers or salt baths, walks outside with your shoes off. Everybody knows that's my favorite. There are just so many ways to get grounded. Everybody's going to find what works for them. But when I was thinking about making this video, I really wanted to offer you something that you could do anywhere. You could do it on a Zoom call while your boss is chattering away. You could do it sitting in car line while you're waiting to pick up your kids. You could even do it standing up at a football game if we ever end up going back to football games. Really, there are no limits to where this practice can be done. Okay, it's only going to take me a minute to get it to you, or it's only going to take a minute for you to sit with it and absorb it. So go ahead and let yourself get really comfortable. Okay, and if you're standing up listening to this, you can be standing. If you're sitting down, you can be sitting down. If you're laying flat, reclined on your bed, you can do this practice. Okay. And so we're going to start to take that inhale from the ground up. So feel that inhale coming from the toes all the way up the legs, hitting the heart, sending it up through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, feel that exhale drop back down into the body. So slowly exhaling, feeling that breath, feeling your energy as it slowly drops down to the earth. Maybe going from the bottoms of the feet down into the ground, deepening that connection. And inhale one more time, inhaling up through the feet, through the legs, just really feeling that energy drawing up into the heart, out through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, taking it back down. And let's actually go ahead and just do it 2 more times. So inhale up through the feet, really feeling that traveling of energy up into the body, coming past the hips, into the low belly, into the lungs, the heart, the shoulders, out through the crown of the head, and exhale, just send it back down the body. And taking that one more time. So one more just delicious, rich inhale, drawing it up from the soles of the feet all the way out through that crown. And then as you exhale, just dropping it down the body. Just sit there for a moment, bringing your breath back to a natural pattern. Beautiful. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me for this quick video on grounding. I hope that that simple practice is something that you try. Set a reminder in your phone in the morning to do it before you get out of bed, and maybe even a couple of other times throughout the day. I have an alarm set to do it 3 times a day. Okay, so grounding is one of the many areas that I'm focusing on in February over in the Wild Hearted Collective. If you want a little bit more of an opportunity to play with grounding practices and get support, go ahead and check out the link in the video description to the Wild Hearted Collective. Now, before you go, in addition, down in that description, I also have my free mini course on working with Bridget, the Celtic Triple Goddess. Check it out and let me know what you think. I am so excited to have finally released it, okay? Now, I do hope that this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions on grounding in the comments. Thank you so much for being here and for serving during these times of transformation. I love you so much. Until next time.